So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button. Share the video as always. And all that good stuff, guys. All that good stuff. Guys, I want to talk about Frank Sanchez and the fact that what he had to say about Mr. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, we know that we've seen footage of Canelo and Frank Sanchez spar. And Canelo is a guy that, he spars heavyweights, spars Frank Sanchez. Sanchez is a very good fighter. A guy that a lot of people think can do some stuff in the heavyweight division. His performance against Christian Hammer, I don't know. Look, he showed skills, and I think Frank Sanchez definitely has skills. Cuban, I think he's a Cuban heavyweight. Cubans always have skills. There's no doubt about it. Cuban fighters are always very skilled fighters. He showed in that fight that, he's a very skilled guy. He beat Christian Hammer quite comfortably. But a lot of people were disappointed. They felt that Frank Sanchez didn't really have the power. He didn't really have the power, and he should be stopping Christian Hammer and been looking a lot more impressive than what he did. I thought it was a perfectly all right performance. I do think that the lack of power, is probably going to be a problem unless he's able to use his fast hands and box his way to victories. You need a little bit of pop in the heavyweight division. You can't afford to just box because, the chances are when you fight the elite guys, those guys are very powerful and they're probably going to hurt you somewhere along the way. So it's always good for a heavyweight to have knockout power. And he didn't really show that against Hammer. Styles make fights, and look, Hammer may have come to survive, and another fighter who has more about him and is looking to win may leave himself open, and Sanchez may be able to land more telling blows. But it's an okay performance by Sanchez. I think that, we probably need to see a lot more and obviously step up. A fight between Frank Sanchez and Hrgovic, if they're confident, if Eddie Reynoso's confident of putting him in with Hrgovic. Now, they are talking about they would KO Tyson Fury and they would KO Usyk, and they've got no boxing skills. Well, if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure that, they'd be willing to put, Frank Sanchez in with someone like Filip Hrgovic, who we know that Filip Hrgovic, fights been turned down, has had his fights been turned down by Parker and Luis Ortiz. So if Frank Sanchez wants to become a mandatory, I think he can fight a title eliminator with Filip Hrgovic. I think it's the IBF. So why not? If they're very confident in their guy and they think their guy would, is the next, big heavyweight star, then why not put him in with someone like Ortiz or someone like Ortiz? That'd be a good fight. Or someone, not Ortiz, sorry, someone like Filip Hrgovic. They're both at a stage where people want to see Hrgovic and Sanchez step up and fight the top tier guys. But I want to do this video talking about something else. I wanted to do a video talking about Frank Sanchez and what Frank Sanchez had to say. Frank Sanchez said that Canelo has the power to hurt guys like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. I found that really bizarre. Now, obviously, Frank Sanchez has sparred Canelo. He would know that remember when they're sparring with heavy gloves. Oh, sorry, heavy gloves. They're sparring with, probably 16 ounces, some big gloves. They've got headgear on. And Frank Sanchez says that Canelo can really punch. He's a very, very strong guy. And I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Can he hurt Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua? I'm not so sure about that. Look, Canelo's punching power at super middleweight is not what it was, And people always may say, well, he's knocking these guys out. Yeah, but if you look at it, those guys are being able to absorb his shots a lot better. They can take his shots. Now, you go up to light heavyweight, those guys are going to be able to absorb his shots a lot better. You go up to cruiserweight, those guys are going to be able to take his shots even better because they're bigger, naturally bigger guys. So, of course, they're going to be able to, they're used to taking punches of bigger men. So, they'll be able to absorb Canelo's shots a lot better. Go to heavyweight now, you're talking about someone like, imagine Canelo in there with Tyson Fury. That's almost 1 foot bigger. He's 1 foot bigger and he's 100 pounds bigger. So are you going to tell me that Canelo has the punching power to really hurt Tyson Fury? I very much, and not just like hurt Tyson Fury, but like be able to stop Tyson Fury. I very much doubt that. I very, very much doubt that. You know, Deontay Wilder's probably one of the biggest, like probably the biggest puncher in boxing. He put Tyson Fury down, and Tyson Fury got up from that. So does Canelo Alvarez have the power to hurt guys like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? I don't know. Maybe if he gets a free shot, then yeah, maybe. But you've got to understand, if Frank Sanchez is talking about going in the heavyweight division, what you got to realize, if Canelo was to fight Joshua and Fury, they're not just going to stand there. They're going to be hitting him as well. And that, him being such a small guy and him not being a heavyweight, there's a good chance that he gets knocked out, even though Canelo's got a granite chin and tough. But the heavyweight division is a completely different game. Those guys are massive. They hit very hard. They're big as well. So yeah, I don't know what the purpose of what Frank Sanchez saying that he could hurt those guys. Is he saying that Canelo Alvarez could become heavyweight champion of the world? I very, very, very much doubt that. You put Canelo Alvarez in there with Usyk, and most people were saying that's a far-fetched. They were saying that he's got no chance against Usyk. Anthony Joshua got beat by Usyk, so it just shows that, you know, not necessarily size always matters, but you got to realize Usyk's a big guy as well. Usyk's 6'3", and he's 40 pounds. Anthony Joshua 6'6", 50 pounds. Canelo Alvarez is 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", 100. Look, he's fighting 168 pounds. He's not a very big guy, right, compared to those guys. And you know, this disparity in size and strength and all of that will be massive. So, do I think Canelo Alvarez could hurt Anthony Joshua and Fury? No. Not a chance, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe you guys might think otherwise, but you know, for a 5'8" guy to hurt a heavy, like, nah, I don't see it. I know Mike Tyson was small, but Mike Tyson was built like a heavyweight. Mike Tyson was a heavyweight. Canelo Alvarez isn't a heavyweight. Mike Tyson had a different kind of body structure, even though he had a similar build to Canelo, but he was a heavyweight build. Canelo's more of a lighter guy build, but he's built like massive, like Tyson for, you know, the super middleweights and the middleweight division. He's built like a, you know, like a small guy, but a massive guy, you know, a massive hench, muscular, strong, just a beast of a guy. That same way Mike Tyson was for heavyweight. And even though Canelo Alvarez is smaller than a lot of the guys that he's getting in the ring with, he's so big and strong, even for those weight classes. Even though he's smaller than those guys, he's still, like, you know, bigger. He's still very strong. His punching power is still very, 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 very powerful for those weight classes. But if you now start talking about Canelo Alvarez going up to heavyweight, then yeah, you know, those guys are too big. And Canelo, can you imagine him in there with Fury? Like, he'd struggle to even reach Fury's face. I think he'd have to hit Fury with body shots, because Fury's 6'9". You know, he's almost over a foot taller than Canelo. So how's Canelo going to reach his face? Canelo's going to have to hit him with body shots. And I don't think Canelo Alvarez is going to be able to hurt Tyson Fury with body shots. I don't know what Frank Sanchez... I don't know. Frank Sanchez, I found that a little bit bizarre. You know, even though AJ doesn't have the greatest chin in the world, I still think he would be able to take Canelo Alvarez's power quite easily. You know, he's just too big. And remember, like I said, those guys are going to be hitting him back. You know, they're going to be so big and towering over him, and they're going to be hitting him back. How's he going to take being hit by heavyweights? And we're not talking about in sparring now. We're talking about in a fight with, what, 10-ounce gloves. You know, how's he going to take those guys to almost 70 pounds heavier than him, 70, 80 pounds heavier than him, you know, a foot taller than him? You know, how's he going to take those, like, you know, it's not, you know, physically, it's just not possible. And that's why I think when we talk about these fantasy matches, it's just crazy, because it's not possible. Like, even Canelo and Usyk is a stretch. And, you know, Eddie Reynoso basically said that that's not going to happen. Canelo's not going to fight Usyk, because Eddie Reynoso is not an idiot. Eddie Reynoso knows that there's no chance he could go to heavyweight and fight guys like that big. He knows that it's just too much of a weight disparity. Too much. That would be, you know, putting Canelo in danger, really, because it's not like Khan going up to fight Canelo, is it? The disparity in the different size difference isn't that big. compared to, you know, Canelo going up to heavyweight and fight. And remember, the heavyweights of today aren't like the heavyweights of the past. Like, the heavyweights of today are massive. They're giants. You know, they're 6'7", 8, 6'6", 6'9". You know, that isn't normal. That's ridiculously big. You know, and the heavyweights of the previous years, like 6'3", 6'2". You know, Joe Frazier, I swear he was like 6'4" or 5'11". So Joe Frazier wasn't that big. You know, Foreman was like 6'4". So that's my point, is like the heavyweights of the past weren't as big as what the heavyweights are of today. The heavyweights of today are massive. So yeah, I think if there was a weak champion who wasn't that big, who was like a Parker, for example, even that would be a stretch for Canelo. But like, if Parker was champion, someone like that, could Canelo go up and beat for a world championship? Possibly. Who knows? I still would doubt that heavily. But someone like Joseph Parker, you know, someone like that, could Canelo go up to heavyweight and beat someone like Joseph Parker? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think Canelo could beat someone like Tony Bellew at cruiserweight. I do. I think Canelo possibly could have beaten someone like Joseph Parker. I think he possibly could have. But some of the top heavyweights like that, you know, top 4, 5, I don't think Canelo would stand a chance in a fight against them. And in terms of hurting them, I don't see it. I think Canelo would struggle to even reach them. You know, even like talking about Joshua 6'6", Canelo's like, what, 5'7"? That's almost a foot bigger. A foot bigger. You know, Tyson Fury's a foot and 2 inches bigger. Deontay Wilder's a whole foot bigger. So how, you know, it's just not realistic, is it? When you think about it, it's not realistic. It's fantasy. And I don't know what, maybe Frank Sanchez is going off the sparring session. And look, he was sparring with bigger gloves as well. So if he was feeling Canelo's power, then, you know, fair play. You know, Canelo must have some serious power. But from what I've seen in Canelo's career at super middleweight and middleweight and you know, even at like light heavyweight, you know, the guys take his power a lot easier, you know, than some of the smaller guys he faced earlier on in his career. Canelo isn't as devastating a puncher. And if you go to heavyweight, then you'd have to say that his power would be even less to hurt those guys. So yeah, I don't know if I agree with Frank Sanchez. You know, Frank Sanchez has been in there with Canelo, so he's giving his opinion. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with Frank Sanchez? Do you think Canelo Alvarez could hurt Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua at heavyweight? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.